The sun was just beginning to set over the dusty stretch of a remote Middle Eastern refugee camp when a convoy of aid workers arrived, only this time, an unexpected figure stepped out. Elon Musk, the world-famous entrepreneur, had come quietly, avoiding cameras, journalists, and any kind of attention. He wasn't there for a publicity stunt. He wasn't there to announce a new project. His visit had a deeper, almost mysterious purpose, one he'd told no one about. Elon had been struggling with something he never talked about publicly, a growing fear that with all his achievements, he had lost touch with humanity. Rockets, electric cars, AI, he had changed the world, but he couldn't shake the thought that he wasn't changing people's lives directly. As he walked past rows of tents and temporary shelters, he heard a soft, broken cry. An aid worker pointed him toward a small child sitting alone near a torn canvas tent. The boy was no older than 2, thin, quiet, and staring up with wide, frightened eyes. Elon felt something inside him shift. "What happened to him?" he asked quietly. The worker sighed. "His entire family was lost in an attack. He hasn't spoken since. No one even knows his name." And just like that, a decision formed in Elon's mind, one that would remain secret for years. 3 months later, after a whirlwind of legal processes, private humanitarian work, and personal reflection, Elon Musk adopted the boy. He named him Ayan, meaning gift of God. But unlike his public announcements about Tesla launches or SpaceX missions, he kept Ayan completely hidden from the world. Only a handful of people even knew the child existed. Ayan was different from any child Elon had ever met. He didn't cry much. He didn't smile much either. He spent his days observing everything with a seriousness no toddler should have. It was as if he had carried the weight of his past into this new world. Elon tried everything: therapy, child specialists, the best education, yet Ayan remained silent. Still, Elon felt a unique bond with him. He would take him to SpaceX hangars, letting the boy touch the cold metal of rocket parts. Sometimes Ayan would look upward, as if he understood the sky better than the ground he stood on. Years passed quietly. By the time Ayan turned 8, he rarely spoke more than a few words. But he had a curious mind, an uncanny ability to assemble gadgets, take apart computers, and understand complex mechanisms without instruction. It was as if the trauma had muted his voice, but sharpened his mind. Everything changed one stormy night. Elon was working late when he heard a knock on his office door. It was Ayan, something he rarely did. Elon looked up. "Everything okay?" he asked gently. Ayan didn't answer immediately. Instead, he slowly approached the desk, placing a small device, something he had built, right in front of Elon. "It listens," Ayan whispered. Elon sat up straight. It was the first full sentence Ayan had spoken in years. "What do you mean?" Ayan explained. His memory had never been gone. He remembered everything from the night his family was killed. He remembered faces, symbols, accents, and for years he'd heard whispers. Even in America, hints that someone had followed him. Someone who didn't want him alive. And the device he built? It picked up encrypted radio chatter from unknown sources around their estate. Ayan's silence had never been emotional. It was survival. Elon immediately contacted security experts, intelligence analysts, and trusted allies. What they uncovered shocked everyone. A militant group had been secretly tracking Ayan since the day he was rescued. They believed Ayan's father, unknown, even to the aid workers, had been part of a classified diplomatic mission. The group feared the boy might one day expose their crimes. When Elon adopted him, they assumed the world's most famous billionaire had done so for reasons beyond compassion, perhaps for information. So they watched and waited. When the investigation was finally handed to global authorities, arrests were made across 3 countries. The group's network collapsed almost overnight. Ayan, the silent boy from the refugee camp, had unintentionally helped stop an international threat. And Elon realized something profound. Adopting Ayan wasn't just an act of kindness. It had been destiny, intertwined, with both of their lives in ways he could never have predicted. With the danger gone, Ayan slowly began to speak more. His voice was soft, but his words were sharp and insightful. He asked questions about space, physics, and engineering, questions advanced scientists would struggle with. Elon soon understood that Ayan's mind was not just gifted, it was extraordinary. Years later, long after the world finally learned the truth about Elon's secret adoption, Ayan made his first public appearance not as a celebrity's son, but as a young inventor unveiling a device that could translate the emotional patterns of traumatized children into understandable signals, a bridge for those who could not speak, a gift born from his own silence. As he stood on the stage, cameras flashing, the world finally saw him. Not the refugee boy, not the mysterious child raised by a billionaire, but a symbol of resilience, brilliance, and hope. And Elon, watching from the front row, knew one thing for certain. Adopting Ayan had not been an act of charity. It had been the greatest turning point of both their lives.